Alright YouTube, it's time for Occult Video 17, Occult Symbolism in the Music and Film Industries. This is something that I should have made years ago, because I'm actually involved in the occult. Most people in sort of quasi-mainstream culture, especially Christians, they say Hollywood and the film industry and the music industry and all of these things are basically run by a bunch of devil worshippers who insert occult symbolism into music videos and Super Bowl halftime shows and everything else, basically in order to brainwash people, to make them materialistic, to destroy their souls, to lead them to Satan, to do any of a million other things. I would like to point out that a lot of the occult symbolism that they're seeing is real, but is not actually satanic. In fact, most of it's Jewish in origin. Which I'm sure that these same evangelicals don't want to believe, but study Kabbalah and you'll find that I'm right. The real story is this. Most of this occult symbolism is put into film and music specifically because around the 60s and 70s, as the sort of pre-satanic panic era began, I think a lot of these musicians and film industry managers, let's face it, people who actually, sort of put the videos together, sponsor them, pay for them, and so forth. Filmmakers, anyone remotely connected with the film industry, realized that if they did put such messages in their music videos, in movies, and so forth, they would naturally get a larger audience, specifically because people would be talking about all of that symbolism. That is, that an otherwise boring song, which, let's face it, 99% of the fucking pop songs made today are utterly boring, they're talentless tripe that nobody would listen to if it weren't for a really good digitally enhanced music video and all sorts of boobs shaking around and stuff like that. That's why people watch the pop music videos. They're not watching it for the music, because the music sucks mostly. There are a very small number of modern bands that actually have any talent. Most of them are underground bands. Let's face it, the mainstream pop, hip-hop, rap, a lot of mainstream rock is just utter trash. Nobody cares about it. It's not as profitable as it used to be anyway because of digital stuff. So they're looking to scrape together a few extra shekels any way they can. What better way than to take advantage of millions of conspiracy theorists and evangelicals and to get them to spread the video and the other material around for them for free? What better advertising scheme is there than to put a pentagram somewhere in the video, or an owl, or a triangle, or Jewish Star of David, or anything like that, to insert a line about witches or something like that, or casting a spell on somebody, and get all that free revenue and advertising simply by inserting these things? People assume that it's some sort of variously New World Order, reptilian, Illuminati, Masonic, whatever conspiracy. In reality, it's a money-making endeavor. The real source of all of the so-called occultism in these various entertainment industries is money. That's their magic. Their magic is money. The real magic is all the special effects they pump things full of to make them listenable, and all the auto-tune and all that bullshit that they use to make money. It's about money. That's what they want. It's like government occult conspiracy theories. They're not a bunch of occultists. They're a bunch of money-grubbing idiots who just want to take more of your tax revenue. All this other stuff that they delve into is primarily a distraction. I've often thought that some of the conspiracy theories that are out there, the really crazy ones that are obviously not true to anyone who's studied such subjects, I've often thought that they were deliberately concocted by these same government and other organizations as well, specifically to distract the people that might actually dig for answers from the real things that are going on. Essentially, let's say the government's embezzling billions of its own taxpayer dollars and offshoring them and laundering it through some criminal organization and then re-importing it and getting rich off of people's, own misery. Let's say the government's doing that. Why don't they just take, a few facets of that actual real conspiracy that's going on, tie it into some alien bullshit, pump it out there through Before It's News and Alex Jones, and then they can get away with it scot-free. People will be so busy worried about the aliens or the Masons or something that they're not actually going to dig for the real conspiracy which is going on, which is, oh, by the way, government lies and steals money. It's as simple as that. It's the same thing with Hollywood. It's the same thing with the music industry. It's like Katy Perry's song there, Dark Horse or whatever the fuck it is. It's largely a semi-listenable pop song with mediocre talent, a mediocre voice, and mediocre dancing. That's what it is. But if you put in some occult symbolism, or if you put in some occult symbolism years ago so people assume that there's going to be occult symbolism there and will watch the video 1,000 times over just to find it, you can get all sorts of ad revenue. It's a joke to them. It's a money-making venture. There's the truth. I'm not really sure how I'm going to make this a long video because there's really nothing else to say. Most of these people know actually nothing about the occult. Those that do are borrowing the symbolism specifically to make money, but the thing is, the sort of Epicurean ideals of real occultism sort of disdain the notion of all of the mansions and limousines and gold and all of these other things that these people want. These things are closer to an outright hedonistic materialism that is almost diametrically opposed to the sort of ascetic beliefs of some occult sects. It's as simple as that. It's money. That's really what they're after. They're not after world domination, they're after money. If they can make more people tune into the Super Bowl by putting a few pyramids in the Super Bowl halftime show and then calling it the Superb Owl, of course they're going to do so. They're going to make more money. In fact, millions and millions of extra dollars will go into their coffers because they've convinced people that otherwise wouldn't be interested at all into actually watching at least that segment of the show, giving them better ratings and thus better publicity, lots of money, lots of tweets, lots of Facebook posts, lots of YouTube videos, lots and lots of ad revenue, especially through digital mediums. It's great. If I was a rock star or something like that, you can be damn sure I'd put occult symbolism everywhere. And I'd have thinly veiled but fairly obvious occult references in all of my music. Because I would know I'd get millions of dollars for doing so. I could retire a few extra years early and be rich as fuck because I wouldn't give a fuck. Because of occult symbolism that's not even legitimate. I would just put a pentagram somewhere in the music video and I'd get a few $500,000 of extra hits simply because of evangelicals sharing the shit out of my video. Well, normally they would consider that music satanic and wouldn't listen to it anyway, but if I put some symbolism in there, they're going to actually watch it. They'll be praying the whole time, convinced that they'll get possessed somehow, but they'll watch it. And maybe they'll click an ad for, fucking plastic cross or holy water from Jerusalem. That's the manner of the world today. These people are good at making money. The entertainment industry is full of illusion. It is full of symbolism. Most of that is for money purposes. Just like all the drug references you see in the 50s and 60s. Why do you think they put that in the music? Half these people were stone cold sober. They weren't using psychedelics, not really, but they were going to sing about it anyway because then all the stoners would listen to the music and say, well, man, it's so chill, man. I can see the mushrooms growing on my eyelids. It's money. That's what they want. They want lots of money. Look at the song How to Be a Millionaire by ABC. What occult symbolism's there? It's literally just a pile of money. That's the entire song. That's pop music for you. There's no occultism in it, whatever. These people don't have enough talent and intelligence to be occultists most of the time. There are a few pop stars, I guess. There are a few pop and rock stars, mostly older ones, that have some talent. I like Marilyn Manson's music, but I realize he's most likely not straightforward about most of his views here. When he seems rather intelligent. But if you think he's actually committing acts of bestial devil worship to make his music sell, well, no. But he'll put symbolism about that in his music and he'll soak up your money like a sponge, which is cool. Yeah, take money from the evangelicals. They're the same people who would give it to the church anyway. Give lots and lots of money to some televangelist or minister who also doesn't give a shit about God and uses a bunch of bullshit symbolism. It's the same thing, really. A televangelist service or a megachurch service is really the same thing as Hollywood or the film industry anyway. There are actually Christians I've met that actually understand that fact. Not all of them, but some of them do. They realize that a lot of that's really just entertainment. It's really meant to soak up people's money. All the charismatic preachers sort of bullshit, the Joyce Meyers and Peter Popoffs and John Haggarts of the world, Ted Haggarts of the world. It's all the same thing. Those people are no different than some vapid pop star that's got no talent. I don't listen to modern pop music for the most part. I liked Somebody that I used to know was like the last pop song I liked. I like Imagine Dragons, although that's not really mainstream, like bubblegum pop or something like that. You think I listen to Katy Perry and Taylor Swift all day? It's just not going to happen. An actual occultist is probably more likely to listen to like classical music or something, to tell the truth. Metal's alright, metal's fine, but I mean the symbolism in like black metal is fairly obviously occult in meaning. It's fairly obviously about worshiping Satan. There's no illusion about what it's about. They're not trying to hide that fact. It's not actual symbolism. They actually believe this sort of stuff. Some of them do. Some of the others just bite off that same talent and include the pentagrams and the cross of St. Peter and all that, again, to make money. And they don't really believe in it. You see a lot of these like metal stars and stuff that then, you know, they get older and they start ranting about how they believe in Jesus or something. It's like, what's the point? You can get away with that if you're into heavy metal and you're like Ozzy or somebody like that, because it's not so. I mean, the whole satanic aspect was largely spoon-fed to the public by the media in the beginning anyway about such music. But if you're talking about something like black metal, yes, it's obviously overtly occult in nature and does revolve around worshiping Satan and killing Jesus and stuff like that. But as far as pop music goes, no, those symbols are put there specifically so that you will click share on that video and make them more money. So that you can tell all of your evangelical buddies, yeah, look at this, there's an owl inside of this pyramid. This person's obviously worshiping Satan and trying to get us to worship at the altars of the Illuminati. Well, that's not their intent. Their intent is to make a few extra millions of dollars. The easiest way to do that is to get people who wouldn't otherwise listen to such stuff to share it. Look at me, as an occultist. I utterly ignore mainstream pop. I do not listen to the pop station. I do not tune into pop music. I Iggy Pop, essentially. I'm not interested in the music. I never have been. The last time pop was relevant was in the 1980s. It's a dead genre, basically. People have gotten fed up. That's why do you think they've tried to mesh it at first with dubstep and also with hip-hop? Because people got bored of it. They didn't want that sort of nonsense music anymore because they stopped using the good synth and started tuning into the crappy beats that nobody gives a fuck about. The music's social impact has gone straight downhill since the birth of the 90s, basically. The last sort of socially relevant bands were in the mid-90s, like Nirvana or something like that. Now it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's pre-packaged. There are no pop visionaries anymore. There are no Kurt Cobains and John Lennons anymore in pop. Their opinions that do sound profound are all manufactured beforehand by some talent scout fucking manager that just wants more money too. So say something profound about the war. Say something profound about police brutality that nobody will listen to, but people will think you're smart anyway, so they'll give us more money for your video. That's what it is. It's dishonest. It's materialistic. It's antithetical to everything that could possibly be spiritual. It's a form of outright illogical hedonism as opposed to sort of the Epicurean style hedonism of an actual satanic order or an actual occult group. It's not about enjoying life and its simple pleasures. It's really more about just an orgy of drugs and money. And while that's okay for some people, I guess, yeah, the symbolism is inauthentic. So yeah, that's a little bit about occultism in music, film, all that stuff. Film's just as bad, you know. If it's like a B horror movie, then it'll have, you know, maybe the devil comes back and fucks people with his porcupine cock or his beehive buster dick or something like that. That's funny. There's nothing wrong with seeing Satan, you know, have sex with a beehive or something like that. But I mean, still, it's obviously fake. It's not actually Satan. It's an actor in a Satan suit or, you know, CGI or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, the symbolism's not real. It's to get you to share the video so they can make money. That's about all. Peace out.